Welcome to the Earthborne Games podcast. I'm your host, Anders S. Carlson. Joining me is the crew of Earthborne Games. Well, a skeleton crew. Evan P. Simonet. Did I get it right?
No, you didn't.
Cory D. DeVore.
Didn't get it right either.
Andrew J. Fisher.
You actually got that one right.
All
Yeah.
right.
I think Jay is the one to bet on. Yeah.
That is the one to bet on. We were going to have Mr. Boggs on as well.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, to talk about Hubworld Eidalon, but he couldn't join us. But look forward to a future episode with Cory and Michael Boggs, the co-creators of Hubworld Eidalon. Alas, what was the reason?
VPN issues, I think, due to the Cloudflare outage today. So, unfortunately, he could not just get access to the podcast.
Yeah, the Cloudflare outage. You say that as if is that like, what is that? I have no idea.
I think it's like, I forget exactly all the details, but essentially it's kind of like when Amazon went down or whatever, Amazon Web Services went down and a bunch of websites go down with it and apps. Cloudflare is kind of similar. It's like servers and things, so it takes down a chunk of the internet with it as well.
Yeah, Cloudflare is like a DNS and like cybersecurity corporation primarily.
Yeah.
So they provide stuff like hosting for VPNs and things.
Am I the only one here that gets kind of excited when stuff like that happens? Because it feels like something is actually happening for once. You know,
the history books are being written. Yeah.
What do you mean? It feels like there's like a billion things happening every
You're
day.
right.
But I know what you mean though, like on that kind of cinematic scale, like some grand.
Yeah.
So
you're right. No, Michael's constantly fighting with the VPN, unfortunately, and because of the time difference, we're recording right when he wakes up. So he woke up and his VPN wasn't working. So we were hoping we got a bunch of questions. So we're still going to pester Cory with our Eidalon questions today. But we'll have to wait for Michael's answers for a later episode where we really grill him on game design and balance.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about donuts.
That's true. We were talking about donuts before the show started, and Anders, you just like hit record right in the middle. You're like, "This is juicy banter for the podcast."
Yeah, we missed the donuts conversation.
So I just had to figure out a smooth way to get back on topic there. Guys, remember when we were talking about donuts before?
Yeah.
Well, there's a new Krispy Kreme donuts opening back up here in the Minneapolis suburbs. We used to have them for probably about, I don't know how long they lasted here, like 10 years.
Yeah, or so. Something like that.
We didn't have the Krispy Kreme donut franchise for like my entire childhood. Then they came. It's a big deal. And they went out of style after like 10 years. And now they're back. And I'm excited to try them out. So that led us to like, what is the best donut around?
Yeah. There's a lot of good donuts in the Twin Cities. A lot of good donuts. We just talked about grocery stores initially.
This isn't really going to help. This is a very local suggestion, but I really like Marqueux. They're very bougie, expensive donuts, but they have like a cronut that's just to die for.
Oh, it's funny.
They're very French.
It's funny that you bring that place up because just last week I went. So this is like a French patisserie. That opened a few years ago, and when they first opened, I went there, for special treats, and they were just like superb, like perfect pastries. But then they started selling in coffee shops, and I feel like their quality went way downhill. So I did like a rare Anders complaint, and I brought my pastry back up to the barista, and I was like, "Hey, I don't do this usually, but this just was really bad." And she was so apologetic, and she gave me 3 free coffee drinks.
Oh my gosh!
Just there, set them out on the table.
Give you 3 drinks.
And refunded my thing. And then I wrote a bad review on Google reviews, which is also a rare thing
Wow, this really got you.
And they
Wow.
and they responded, and then I felt really guilty, and then deleted my review. They're like, "We're so sorry to upset you, sir. We will try harder next time."
Sorry for ruining your life.
Yeah, is this Dogwood? Well, I know Dogwood sells Marquee baked items. Dogwood coffee.
They do.
Yeah, but I think Andres, you're right. They're not the same. Like if you go to the Marque's actual store, I really stand by them. I think they're really good.
I bet. I put that disclaimer. I said this is for the coffee shop version only.
Mm-hmm.
I said there's no love in it.
Yeah,
there's no love in it anymore.
There's a place up here in Northeast called Sarah's. I think it's just called Sarah's Bakery.
Sarah Jane's.
Sarah Jane. Yeah, I think so. It's right by Hazel's. Yeah. People who don't live here enjoy this podcast. They have really good donuts. There's a lot of really good donuts in the Twin Cities. I hope that all of you have really good donuts. Comment below with your favorite local donut shop of your local area.
Heck yeah, do it. Please do it.
My other hot Twin Cities donut take is everybody talks up Glam Doll donuts.
Oh yeah,
they're very like Instagrammable, and they have all sorts of stuff on them. They're a mid donut.
They're very
Their actual donuts just aren't worth the price.
I agree.
They're not that good, and they usually are like sriracha donuts or something awful. Like it's not like a very good experience. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then at work we out. let's fill like 90 minutes of just local donut talk.
I mean, I got a suggestion too. I haven't been there yet though, so
what is it?
I've only had the vending machine option, but there's a place called the Donut Trap.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that place.
They have a vending
really
machine.
Cool.
They have vending machines all over the city with donuts in them, including the Mall of America.
Yeah.
Were these the ludicrously expensive ones where it's like $5 for a vending machine donut?
And they're like squares.
Everything's $5 these days. Come on.
Okay, that's fair.
And I bought a Coke the other day and it was $3. I couldn't believe it.
Whoa. I thought those vending machine donuts suck. It's like a little cake. It's not even a donut.
The last time I had one, it was like the end of the day where it's like probably too late to get a donut from a vending machine, and it was like hot from the lights. I ate it very slowly and very like regrettably. But
Cory, what time of day is the right time of day for a vending machine donut?
I don't know.
11 p.m., 2 a.m. Yeah, what?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you're right. 2 a.m. is the right time. Yeah. You're coming out of the bar, you get a vending machine donut. Yeah.
Yeah. It was at a brewery after a late board game night with Cole Worley and a few other Leader Games folks. And I was the last one out, closing my tab. And I was like, I'm going to get this hot vending machine donut that's been baking under these lights.
Speaking of bacon under these lights, you can get bacon at you can get just a bag of bacon at Dunkin' Donuts.
You just like what you eat like fries. You just kind of snack on your bacon.
It's called snackin' bacon. So
I mean, all bacon is snack bacon.
Snakin'.
They have a bag of bacon available, but they got rid of like the most classic donut ever. I don't understand.
What's that?
Which one is that?
It's just called I think it's called the chocolate headlight. It's just a cake donut with chocolate frosting, and they got rid of it. I don't know why.
Why do they call it the chocolate headlight?
I don't know.
I'll go for a Dunkin'.
Post some podcast names in the chat as we go.
Oh, good.
Yeah, snacking bacon.
Yeah, try the bag of bacon. I liked it quite a bit.
I mean, I'm not gonna not like it, right? Like, there's just no way.
If you ever need some bacon and you don't want to cook it up, just hit up the Dunkin' drive-thru.
These are the tips that the Earthborne community comes to this podcast for.
Is there Dunkin' in Europe? Probably.
I have no idea. Yeah, no
Let's
clue.
see Tim Hortons.
There's like Greg's sausage roll. I had a Greg's sausage roll in the UK. Yeah,
those are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they're clearly greasy junk food in a way, but like they were pretty legit. I enjoyed that.
I agree.
Is it like what is a sausage roll? It's not like a pig in a blanket, right?
The way I've described it, me and Patty have described it, my partner, is a Greg's sausage roll is like a McDonald's apple pie, but it's sausage instead of apples. It's like,
that sounds pretty good.
It's pretty much exactly that. Like it even comes in the little foldy thingy and everything.
That sounds incredible.
Is it really hot?
Really good
when you first get it.
Yeah,
it's too hot.
Good.
Too hot.
Yeah, those apple pies are always way too hot, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we got a great show for you today.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed our banter. Yeah, Andrew's not here as well. I don't think we mentioned that. Other Andrew and Maxine. So hope you enjoy what happens when it's just the four of us.
Yeah, gosh. Every time I'm on here, it's just kids' table energy immediately. I just don't know what's wrong. But
welcome to Donut Boys.
It's
what were you gonna say, Fisher?
No, I was just gonna blame you.
Yeah, it kind of is. It is my fault.
We have some Hubworld Eidalon centric questions that Cory will have to take. What's the word? I don't know.
Have to answer.
Field.
What is it?
Field. They'll have to field the questions.
Yep. Yeah. That was the word I was looking for. I said wield in my head. I said yield.
Yeah.
I forgot about the letter F. But first, what's happening? Let's. There's some exciting weekend coming up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so the big thing happening is that PAX Unplugged is going on right now as of people listening to this podcast. But for us recording it, Cory, you're heading out tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I fly out tomorrow, pretty early too. But yep, I was the first. I'm the first one in and the last one out for PAX this year.
Cool.
So yeah, we're all heading to PAX Unplugged. We're going to be there. Cory, do you know our booth number off the top of your head?
3525.
So come find us if you're at PAX Unplugged. If you're listening to this right now from the show, come find us and say hello. We'll be at the booth. We do have some demoers this year, so we won't all be embroiled in demos constantly, and we'll be more available to chat with all of you, which will be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So Cory, Andrew, Maxine, and I will all be there. Sean will be as well.
Chub Frog.
The famous Chub Frog will be at the booth if you want to chat with any of us. So come by and say hi. Pick up copies of. We'll have Earthborne Rangers as well as all of the expansions, all available, all in stock at the show, including the brand new Spire and Bloom that just came out,
and Moments in the Valley as well.
And Moments in the Valley. I don't think we'll have any, and we'll have errata packs for those of you who still want to grab an errata pack for your original printing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'll have any playmats. Is that right, Cory?
No playmats. Pretty much everything else. There'll be meeples and deluxe tokens and and no minis. So no pewter minis and no playmats.
But everything else we'll have in stock at the show. Come by, pick up your Rangers, say hello, get a demo, whatever you want.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show. It's been an exciting show too because we're going to have a little bit bigger booth this year as well. We're going to
twice the size, right?
Yeah, well, not quite twice, but it's a 10x30, so it's going to be pretty long. And we'll actually have 2 Rangers demo tables at the main booth and 1 Eidalon demo table at the main booth. And then we have 2 demo tables in the demo table zone with Eidalon. So we'll have it's like 16 seats for Eidalon and then 2 for Rangers. And of course we can change things up as we go. But I think that's the plan. And then and I'm really excited for our new booth. So I'll be probably posting some pictures and stuff, but hopefully electricity works and it'll plug in.
This is the first you'll see of it in person, right, Cory?
Yeah, no. There's a lot of things this year that are first things in person at the show. I'm kind of just showing up and hoping
you're dealing with it really well too, Cory.
I don't know if I'm dealing with it really well. Everyone here is like, Cory, calm down.
I am a little jealous though because I'm going to miss out on the new booth.
What's up with the booth?
Yeah. It's cool.
Better.
Tell us about it.
It lights up.
Lights up.
We used to just have banners, and then last year we had a wider show, so we had 2 banners, and now we have an even bigger thing. And so we were talking about trying to up our presence just a little bit and kind of start to invest in things that we can use for the future. So like more structured booth. So it's like actually like these wall panels with graphics, and we actually have a closet now, so we can actually put product away and not just. So that'll be cool, and then and it lights up. So I'm really excited. I ordered electricity. Let's hope it's there. Everything is unknown.
Is it lit up? Is it like
but
Eidalon themed lights? Like
it's both. So it's got like Earthborne Rangers kind of stuff on one side and Eidalon stuff on the other.
Neon.
And then it's actually like fabric, and then the frame has lights, so it like glows. The fabric glows essentially.
Cool.
So it's gonna be pretty rad.
Anders, you were inquiring if it was going to be like a Eidalon in-world theme.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Pretty cool. Maybe sometime in the future.
Something for the future.
Yeah.
You guys could dress up like characters and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be kind of rad, actually.
Yeah.
Just cosplay all of our demoers cosplay. That'd be kind of cool.
Fisher, you're a dead ringer for Abness, so there you go.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well,
I got the spooky hair.
Andrew's talked about like, what if we had a tree? Like, so like I could see a world where we all have like ponchos on and we're like rangers as well.
Each year we bring in a new live tree.
Yeah.
The Rangers cosplay would probably be a little easier than the Eidalon one, just because, like big hat, poncho, you're good,
Yeah.
Though they'd be probably warmer.
It'd be a little bit, it'd be a little gross, depending on the show.
Your demoers just dripping under this poncho.
So are demoers just people you pay to demo it now?
Pretty much, yeah. Like
Cool.
we found a group that essentially helps staff booths, and then they kind of help organize getting people who want to come to the show, and like help organize them to fly out and have hotels, and then they learn how to do our demos and whatnot, and help us put our booth together and whatnot. So just so not this time we didn't have to send like everybody, which we did last time from Earthborne Rangers.
Yeah, so we can send fewer of our main staff, and also have the main staff available to like do meetings and things, because otherwise, like even with everybody there last year, it was just like we are manning tables the entire show, like wall to wall, just like tearing down the demo, setting up the new demo, teaching people the game. And like, admittedly, we got a bunch of help from people like Wayne O'Connor, who stopped by and did demos. I guess that was at UK Games Expo. But like, but with all of that, we have so little time to network, see other, like what stuff other people have brought to the show, just meet with both fans and our other collaborators. Like, this is a good time to actually get in touch with a lot of the people we normally just work with remotely and things. And we just have no time for that if we're working our tables. And so this enables us to do a bit more of that, which is nice.
Yeah, UK Games Expo was kind of like crazy. It was wild. That first day, I think none of us got breaks, and I like the only reason I even ate the sandwich I brought was because I had a 4-player game going and I could sort of let them do their thing. But
yeah, I took a lunch break at like 2, and I went into we all bring lunches, and I went into our our group lunch bag, and every single sandwich was still in there, and I was like, "You guys need to eat."
Yeah, I think I ate at like 4 p.m.
That is funny though, where the treasured moment is when the table you're demoing for has enough knowledge to keep the momentum going themselves, and you're just like, okay, I can just sit.
Yeah, I can go to the bathroom, I can refill my water bottle. It definitely, like if you're at a convention and you're demoing for 8 hours, when you get your little turkey sandwich out of the bag, you feel like a kid on like a field trip that's like hungry, like it's like the best tasting soggy sandwich you've ever eaten in your life.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty, it's a little piece of hope, It's a good time. It's just like your voice just gets really beat to the heck.
So there's go ahead.
Go for it.
No, you go ahead.
All right. Well, so that's what's happening this coming week. And then last week, the other big thing we have going on right now is we just launched Hubworld Eidalon late pledges. We talked a bit about it last episode, but basically anybody who wants to get in, modify their pledge, add pledge, can go do so now. If you missed the Kickstarter and want to jump in, go check it out. Also, we've updated all the card frames, and there's a bunch of new playtesting updates on a bunch of the cards we've released. So we've shared some of those in the updated graphics, and then we'll be previewing other of the cards and some of the new art in the coming weeks and months. So go check that out if you haven't already, or if you're coming into the show, you can check out the new card frames and all the updates to the cards there.
Yeah. What he said.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's what is happening. So let's take it over to the old mailbag, the listener questions. You ready, Cory?
I think so. Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Just a few coming at you.
Yep. So I think they're all of them today are, because we thought we were going to have Michael and Cory. All of them are Eidalon themed. So just so everybody knows, this is our Eidalon focused Q&A.
So let's get right into it with Mr. Winter. It's an appropriate name, as it's a bit chillier here than usual.
Yeah, not a fan of your work, Mr. Winter.
Has there been any thought given to new player onboarding in the first set's design?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. There's a lot of ways to take that one, because I think some of it has to do like with componentry and stuff. But I think from a design specific standpoint, like card designs, definitely. I feel like there will kind of always be a little bit of this mindset, because the idea of Hubworld Aidalon is that each set is an entry point, right? Kind of like with any TCG like Magic, it's like whatever one, if you go to the store and you see like that, you're just going to get whatever the new set is. If it's your first time playing, it's like you're just going to get what's available, and that's your starting point. That's kind of the goal with Eidalon, and it's been one even I think before I pretty early, like before or very early on in even when we pitched it to Earthborne, was like that was something I even thought of at the time, was like I think it'd be cool to do something that's like a living card game where like every set is like kind of a core set sort of thing, because then you could do rotation or whatever. There's all these things that are related to that decision, but part of that has to be that like every set kind of has this, it's a first set a little bit. It doesn't necessarily mean we can't have more complexity throughout the game's life. It just means that like, are there enough tools in here for someone who's just starting out to sort of like build fun, exciting decks, but also sort of like easy to build decks? Are the cards, what's the complexity of the cards too? Like we try not to put too many abilities on cards. Like this first set especially, I think we have like a limit to like 2 abilities per card. There may be a card that has 2 abilities in a cipher, but I think even when it has a cipher, it usually doesn't have 2 abilities. We've really tried to like be mindful of how readable and how much to parse there is on each individual card, and so that I think that'll kind of always be a goal with every set. But I definitely since this is kind of the introduction of a whole new game, it's definitely something that was on our minds. I've rambled enough that now I'm like, Fisher, do you have thoughts that can help me organize my thoughts?
I agree with that. I mean, like for folks who are familiar at all with how like Magic is obviously the elephant in the room whenever you talk about any competitive card game, and if you're familiar with how they structure their sets, like Mark Rosewater is just so prolific in how much he shares about how they do things. We naturally take some of that language, and so similarly, they look at like evergreen mechanics versus deciduous mechanics, and we're taking a similar mentality here, where there are some mechanics you'll see in every set. There are some mechanics you'll only see in occasional sets. There's some mechanics that might occur in a set and then you don't see again for a very, very long time. And so the idea there is that like you kind of stage out your complexity, where if you're playing with all the sets together, there's a lot of different mechanics going on. But when you're playing with one set, there's never too many. And that's kind of a natural on-ramp, because then when you start, you're playing with one set, and then the game gets more complex as you add other sets in. But one of the beauties of the first set is everybody's starting fresh. So you don't even need that extra deciduous stuff there. You're just, the first set can really just be the intro to the game. And, there's a lot of stuff that like we could have tackled that we want to tackle, like multicolored cards and things that like we'll do one day, but like, there's no need to tackle it in the first set because people are still learning the basics.
Totally. So there's like, absolutely, this is kind of the most baby's new set that we'll have ever. But the goal is that that there's a certain amount of that given to every set. But I agree with Fisher. It's like this set is almost all evergreen. Like maybe Rush doesn't have to be in a set one day, but that's I don't know. It's like everything else that's on any card in this set is probably going to be in every set going forward in a way. Besides maybe an archetype might be not as defined, not some like for example a bunch of maybe cash will be replaced by something else in another set or whatever, but for the most part these are all very much like evergreen mechanics in this first set, for sure.
Whereas you'll see introductions in future sets that won't be evergreen necessarily.
But hopefully no matter what set of Eidolon you start on, you'll have a feeling that as a new player, it's a good experience.
Cool. All right. Our next question comes from Tyler Miller. Refreshing to just have a regular first and last name,
We should call the podcast
Don't worry,
Tyler
we'll
Miller.
get back to the interesting names in just a second.
I watched a video review of the preview decks that was concerned about the double action turnaround that happens when the player turn order switches. They felt it was too strong. Now, not having a card game background, I was curious if you guys have gotten similar feedback from playtesters. Also, why did you decide to resolve turn order actions like this instead of an initiative system?
So before Cory, you jump in, I'll give a little more context to folks who haven't yet played the demo decks for Eidolon. In the game, you each get 3 actions, and you alternate. One person takes an action, the other person takes an action until everybody's out of actions. But then who starts each round switches. So assuming nobody's gaining or losing actions, the person who went second one round and ends with an action will go first the next round and start with an action. And so that person gets kind of a double activation. So they get to do 2 actions before the other person gets to go. So that's the context. Cory, do you want to talk about it?
I'm trying to piece together the mention of the initiative system. I'm trying to think. I think was that from like Star Wars Unlimited? Is that
a couple games use an initiative system? Unlimited is probably one of the more prominent ones right now. Yeah.
Okay, I was just trying to like put together in my brain. But yeah, so yeah, it's like usually there's sort of like a player who's always first, sort of, and it's because of their role or whatever.
Well, yeah, so you can take the initiative, so it's like a gameplay component.
Oh, that's right. Like Destiny with the you can take the what was it? The location. They're sort of like whoever controls the base. Yeah. Okay. Yep. No. That. Thank you.
Yeah. No
as soon as you, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of the way we got here, as with I think sometimes a lot of games that are being made, is sometimes on accident. You're sort of like we didn't necessarily be like, well, we want the double action to exist. We sort of just went with this. Well, we're gonna have a first player token, and it swaps. And the reason we didn't really go with an initiative system like that is I believe there was a time we tried something like that. We've tried a lot of things. We even tried turns, like magic turns or Netrunner, where you do like multiple actions in a row. But nothing felt right. And then also an initiative system usually has, at least in my opinion, it always sort of feels like this extra bit of stuff that you have to do or think about or learn. Like there's this other choice that's kind of tacked on to the round, that I think we just kind of liked how light it was, that you just kind of do your actions and then you refresh, do your actions and refresh. It feels like there's not like a moment where you have to make this big choice. Do I want to go first? Do I want to give up something every single round? So we never really I think, wanted to add another choice like that necessarily. But the whole double action thing was just something I think we just kind of enjoyed quietly. We didn't really give it a ton of thought. And then as soon as people were playing preview decks and playtesting, it was like one of the biggest positives that we would hear about. People were just like, I love the double action. Matter of fact, to the point that in the multiplayer mode, we used to have it where the first player token was passed along with the direction of play. But people missed the double action so much. They were like, reverse the turn order reverse the first player token so that like the double action comes back. And it's been like a recurring thing where like we had playtesters test multiplayer with that rule change. Overwhelmingly, I think people tend to enjoy the double action because there's this sort of tension of like planning around that double action. There's even card mechanics, like a card called Calling in Favors, which spends 2 actions. And with that double action, there's sort of this really interesting... there's this interesting... with the first player token passing, there's this interesting dynamic with those cards where, depending on when you play it, that card is either like a little better, like it's kind of like above curve, or it's like below curve, you know? Like it's kind of... the power level of those cards kind of depend on where you're at in the tempo of the game. So overall, it's actually been like a positive for the game, and something that I didn't give as much thought until people started kind of pointing it out. And I realized it's something that I really enjoy for multiple reasons as well. I think I've talked about this before on a previous podcast, but I started getting into Go after we designed Eidalon, or started designing Eidalon, and it's kind of been like a little hobby of mine to play. And there's this dynamic in Go where like black always goes first, but like you kind of like want to what's called there's a thing called Sente, which is basically just initiative. It just means that you sort of are leading the game. If you play a move as black, since you're going first, white is always responding to your move basically for a good portion of the beginning of the game. But at some point, you can either take initiative away from them by making like a risky play, putting pressure on them, or black has to like give up initiative sort of by, confirming like a territory by putting more stones to sort of say this area is safe or whatever. But there's this feeling that I really like about that kind of, oh, I'm on my heels. Oh, now they're on their heels. Oh, I'm on my heels. That kind of happens in Go. It's very natural, and it kind of comes about just through the nature of that game. And I feel like the double action sort of it kind of plays into this feeling of like, oh, I know I'm going to be on my heels for a little bit, so now I have to change the way I'm thinking and then come back. I don't know. I think it's a very exciting feeling when you're playing it. I don't know how to like put it into words beyond that, but it's something that I personally really enjoy, and I didn't even realize what it was exactly until people started talking about it with the double actions. So
it adds a rhythm to the game, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, you know, I haven't seen the specific critique, but I definitely see its point, right? It is a moment of strength for one of the players, but you both get it, and you know it's coming, and you can plan around it. And like you said, it adds texture to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think some of the criticism of it can be a little academic in that, like, you know, it's like, oh, it's not as balanced or whatever, but like, you know, a perfectly balanced game is also a completely boring game is perfectly balanced, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that balance is necessarily inherently boring, but like, I think that adding some of that uncertainty and like difference can add some strategic depth to the kind of experience you're going for.
Yeah, you don't just have this kind of like ramp that you experience in a lot of games. There's this sort of feeling of like there's kind of a bump and then like a plateau, and like there's like rhythm to that you both experience and can plan around it. It's really, I think it's fun. But obviously a lot of people think it's fun because we changed the multiplayer first player token rule to accommodate it. So yeah.
What's a game that you think is balanced to the point of boringness, Fisher?
Oh man. I think I have one, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, like, you know, like arguably it's swingy, but like a game like War, right? Is like you both have perfectly even odds of winning that game because it's effectively an incredibly complex coin toss, you know, like, and so it is balanced, but it is also not interesting. I mean, you can, please don't start the is War a game or an activity argument to the comments. I don't want to have that argument, but like, you know, it's, you can strip down, you know, like the decision space to a place where it is very consistent and very balanced, but maybe a little less interesting and a little less dynamic. Ultimately, Earthborne is a very kind of like narrative-driven, even like Eidalon, you know, is driven a lot by this lore and this storytelling and these bombastic moments. And, you know, I love Go. In fact, Cory, I'm sorry, I never took my turn in our correspondence.
I've been waiting on a turn for a very long time.
But I love Go, but Go does not really have bombastic moments, you know? Even like a game like chess, which is still very equivalent to Go, more bombastic, right? There are those big swingy moments that are more exciting. Whereas Go, you have to look a little deeper to find moments that you find exciting.
Yeah.
What was your example, Cory?
My problem is I don't like calling out other games, but I actually love this game. It's called Warhammer Champions, and it was I think it's the designers of a game called like Light Seekers or something, but it's this lane based kind of game where you have Warhammer heroes, and you kind of play cards into these slots, and the cards like rotate. It's like a buff mechanic in a way. It's really cool because they sort of have timers on them, and the game kind of runs like an engine. I really like that game. It's really awesome. It's no longer around, but it was one of those games where I felt like, and maybe I didn't get as deep into it as I could have, but there was a lot of cards that were very much the same. You know, like everything was so tuned, so tight that it just felt like, I don't know. It's like the games were always kind of close, and it was always kind of like this. You just kind of barely won because some timing thing or some, like, it was just so tightly wound and so perfectly balanced. In my experience, maybe someone will go in the comments and be like, "That game was horribly balanced," but it just felt so balanced that it kind of started to like, I lost a little bit of interest over time, and games just kind of always felt the same. You know what I mean? But I really enjoyed it, but I ultimately kind of like fell off of it because I thought it was just too balanced. I kind of wanted there to be some more surprises, you know? So I think that's like a good example. But
I come across that more in the video game world when I'm playing roguelikes. I think what makes them fun are the ones where you can get that one magical run where you're just overpowered and it's crazy.
Yep.
But some games, it feels like it's so perfectly balanced. Like you just get these tiny little incremental changes throughout the game, and then you just, I mean, there's I don't know. I feel like it's like a Slay the Spire is a bit that way for me. Like you just have to be really focused and strategic to get anywhere. Whereas the game that I'm obsessed with, Monster Train, you could just, wow, that was crazy. I just blew through that. That could be, it could be too far that way too.
Yeah. It's a balance. There's a balance of balancing.
Yeah.
Look at a game like Balatro, right? Balatro lives by bombastic combos, right? Like are arguably broken, but roguelike's kind of balanced just through random distribution and random chance.
Yeah, like that game's pretty. It's like there's good balancing, but like at the same time, there are jokers of the same rarity where I'm like, this one is obviously terrible, and this one is amazing. If I just got that joker every run, I'd be so happy. Yeah, for sure.
And there are certain games where they try to do the thing where it's like every upgrade comes with a downgrade as well, like balancing that way. Not a big fan. It's like, let me just have the cool thing. All right. Our next question comes from Turd the Third. New card templates were revealed when late pledges opened, and some terminology has been updated. I'd be curious to hear more about the process of evolving both of these. Were there any other interesting graphic designs or terms worth sharing that were proposed but ultimately scrapped?
Yeah, I'm like, so I can speak to terminology, but I'm like almost tempted to let Evan talk a little bit about some card template stuff, since you were very, very involved. the person pushing the pixels around.
Yeah. Yeah, I can speak to it a little bit. I will preface by saying sometimes it's hard for me to retrieve like what specific inspirations are, but in this case, I always had like kind of a strong image in my mind for how I wanted the templates to look. There's a lot of things that I instilled in me as a graphic designer from FFG, like the early days of FFG. Well, not the earlier, the days that were early to me. There's a lot of like strong bevels and chunky frames and things, and that was always really fun to do, but it also just feels kind of dated to me. So I wanted to approach it in a way similar to how I approached Arkham Horror, the LCG, where everything's really flat and I guess clean, like flat and graphic, and there are like a little bit of bevels and gradients and here things splash here and there, but I really wanted it to be just like feel very clean, and I didn't feel like the prototype cards looked that way at all. And Cory, you've been nice enough to tell me that people have said nice things about them, but at PAX last year, I was like, these are prototypes, they're placeholders. Like, I did these in a short amount of time. I felt like they didn't represent the true vision. It was nice to hear the comments and receptions of the new cards, because they're hitting what I was originally hoping to hit on, and I couldn't really do that efficiently until I was talking with Rob Brandseg, who's like the art director for Eidalon, and he's like sort of like Cory, you and him are like the resident lore masters, and you guys meet about theming and stuff, and he's amassed this repository of just potential lore, and as he was doing that along the way, he's picking up these reference images because of course he needed to share things with artists, and we try to like share real world examples of what we'd like artists to draw inspiration from. So in talking to Rob, he was nice enough to put together like these faction mood boards. I think he already kind of had faction mood boards, but he kind of catered them for me when I was expressing to him that I was trying to figure out a way to differentiate the factions, because for those of you who've played the prototype, the framing was the same across all the factions. I just color shifted them, and I was initially struggling to give each faction their own kind of identity until I looked at these mood boards that he shared with me. So that gave me a lot of like ammo in my bandolier, and an example of a mood board for people that may not know, it's just like a big. I mean, there's other ways to show this nowadays. Like there's like mood board websites where you can just like drop images, kind of like Pinterest, I guess. But I still kind of do it the old-fashioned way, where I just make like I just have a folder on my desktop of images. Anyways, a mood board is like just a collection of imagery that evokes a certain thing. So like for OmniWorks, there's just a bunch of industrial machinery and structures and partially built things and supports and girders and gears and mechanical things. And I had already known that OmniWorks was going to evoke some stuff like that, but the card frames ended up looking the way they did because I was drawn to some particular images that that Rob found, that were just like these exposed structures with panels. Some panels are here, some panels are missing, and I kind of liked how it was showing this underlying framework that I felt was evocative of OmniWorks. Like they're the core group involved in keeping up Eidalon and keeping the everything running and going. And other examples like Eidalon or old Eidalon there's like a lot of Art Deco and Art Nouveau, which I love that stuff. That's kind of what inspired me to design the Arkham cards the way they are. So I had a lot of fun with that, and they ended up looking, ironically, a lot like the prototype cards. I just had more time with them. Yeah, and collective, there's the imagery he had for me. He provided to me for that faction. It was like a lot of patterns, like striped, kind of winding, repetitive patterns that were maze-like, and almost reminded me made me think of a brain, which I felt like was very, very collective. Like, so I had this idea of a brain in mind when I was creating the faction treatment for that one. So it may not come across very well, but I think even if it doesn't come through fully, it's the fact that it's there and it's like a foundational thing that you build off of is like the important thing. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
And the numbers changed. I know everyone hated the numbers. I didn't really like them either. And I'm really happy with what we came up with.
I always liked them, but I think the 0 people would kind of, they were just so skinny that people would
it was read across the table.
I like the idea of using a really intensely vertical letter form or number form, I guess, as like a way to have some fun design space, but it didn't work out. And a lot of things, and a lot of your first ideas with graphic design don't work out, and then you can see why after you've had the benefit of some time away from your projects and you look at it again and you're like, oh my God, what was I thinking? So
yeah. No, and then not to mention too, like the switching to white border, which was like a whole thing.
That was a big thing too. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot about that. We were trying other things. We were trying like a gray border and a border with like some patterns in the background and stuff, and then the white paper texture that was the clear winner. So
yeah, I think it was Rob that mentioned it was like it felt like you're almost taking the template elements and dropping them onto the watercolor drawing now. Rather than like plugging the art into an existing frame. And it has this really it's very breathy, and it also I think makes the art pop a lot.
It does. Yeah. Also,
I just have a lot of nostalgia for lighter border cards personally, just for when I got into card games and which card games. So I definitely I like it. I know One Piece kind of does it as well a lot, and I just like the look of white border.
It also opens us up for more card material options too. With black border, like you basically want to do a black core card so that the edges match the border and it blends nicely. Whereas without black borders, you have a lot more options for card material.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And we're trying not to do chord cards, and stick to our mission.
Without a rich black border or whatever, we're saving some ink. So that's helpful.
I'm not sure if we've settled on final card material and exactly how we're going to approach that, but we certainly have more options with white than we do with black. It's without black core, you have that stark contrast of the card edge against the border.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we definitely have we can decide kind of like what we want to use, but ultimately I got some printed decks from a local print shop, Artiforge, for packs, and they look awesome. It just looks really good. So yeah, amazing work, Kevin.
Thank you,
as always. Terminology wise, I'll answer that other part of this question. Is just I'm going to see terminology that changed. Yeah, so really, the main terminology that changed was commons switched to network for the name for your deck. That was definitely because of player feedback. Funnily enough, all the districts used to actually have the same starting letter, and then we kind of we got rid of one, and then we and then there was like 2 with C's, and then that made it, I think, much more noticeable, and I think over time it just like it is a much better decision to make them all have a different starting letter. That was like the biggest piece of feedback, was when teaching the game, people would mix up council and commons. So we spent a lot of time thinking about that. Commons was always kind of something that weirdly clicked for me, and I think for Andrew over time too, and because it sort of had this feeling that like if your council is like who's in your hand you're talking to, commons is sort of like you're everyone in the area kind of, or the neighborhood, or you're kind of like I kind of always sort of thought of it like your network, honestly. But then I don't remember why we didn't pick network. We kept kind of dancing around it. Maybe because of the fear of it, like internet connotation.
Yeah, I think because we have some mechanical echoes of Netrunner, network has that like same kind of tech and internet theme, and like might have confused people who were coming in from Netrunner. I think that was some of the concern, but I think we kind of got over that.
Yeah, and honestly, I think sometimes you just got to make a choice that's like that you like and that fits, even if you have like those little thoughts that are like, oh, but what if this, because then you're making an intentional choice that's like very much from like your heart and where you're coming from. And I think network is like how I almost always taught it. Like I was like, this is your commons. It's like the network of people in your name. I even like used it when I was explaining. So I just, it just worked. It was right, and so far everyone seems to really like that change. Scrap was just, for the longest time, kind of Andrew and I had talked about exile and just like the existence of that word and if it made sense in Eidalon, and we just kind of decided that we wanted to cut it. And Andrew, I think a long time ago I had mentioned scrap and then we didn't really go with it, but then Andrew kind of I think came back to it and liked the very like verb aspect of I'm going to scrap this card, and so we if we just switch it to that, then we can change presence to scrap cost and kind of cut a term and make stuff a little bit more teachable, a little bit easier for people to pick up, and get rid of any negative connotations that come with exile, and something that's a little more like punchy, scrapping this card. So yeah, I think those were both, I think, necessary changes, and will help, I think, make the game easier to learn and teach as well.
We have a related question, I think, from Jay King. In the updated cards, Kryzar no longer has the rush keyword, and we are yet to see a more current version of Salvage Rats or Street Parade, 2 other cards with rush. Did rush as a mechanic not fit well in the first set? Is it still there somewhere? Will we see it again?
Yeah, of course, I was waiting for you to read that second. Will we see it again? Yeah, so actually, I gotta go look. I didn't actually check this. Just double checking something, everybody. Don't worry about me.
Are you looking if Rush is still in the set at all?
Oh, it's still in the set, but I was checking the final Kryzar. There's just too many versions in my head, people. No, so to answer this question is that Kryzar actually still has Rush. To be clear, the renders on the GameFound page, so this is like this whole process of getting new templates. It's a lot of work, one, because Evan has a lot of work to do, but it's also a lot of work because to get all those cards into the new templates, we need ways that are more like a sustainable workflow, and that's Fisher is great at. Fisher put a ton of time into taking all those Evan's like links. Links is just like a term for like images and stuff in InDesign, and having them all set up to where you can take a spreadsheet and sort of like basically it generates cards based off that spreadsheet, calling in like the right images, the faction, whatever imagery, as well as all the right text. And I needed him to prioritize the preview. Well, I guess I hand did the preview decks. So I got the preview decks were the ones that were done by the time we needed to get renders ready for the late pledges. So I had to render all those images, but I also needed to get all those cards for those images, and I also needed to get cards ready for packs to be printed. So the timing of everything was just that Kryzar is the preview deck Kryzar, not the final Kryzar. The final Kryzar does have Rush. Rush is still in the set. I apologize that the game found is lying and it's all preview cards, but when we leak cards in our updates, those will be final card designs and stuff like that. So just the ones that are on the page to make it look pretty and show people who are coming to that page for the first time what this game looks like. I just stuck with preview graphics because so anyways, sorry for lying to you guys.
We forgive you.
You got a lot going on, Cory.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
All right, we got another regular name. Evan Gordon asks, what would need to happen for you guys to put this game in a web browser?
Oh, man.
What would need to happen for you guys? Not to you guys. What would need to happen for you guys?
I'd have to learn a lot. They'd have to, that's what have to me is just give me a lot of knowledge and abilities that I don't have.
We've talked about a bit about this before. What would really need to happen is we need the right partner, right? Mm-hmm. That's what would need to happen. The right partner to be able to make that happen. Because we've had a couple people reach out with some interest in implementing something, but we're still kind of debating who the right partner is for this, because there's a lot of people who can do it to different levels of fidelity or different abilities, but there's questions about how polished do we want it? How do we want to support it? What kind of moderation or community control do we want it? What capabilities do we want to have on it? And also if there is available digital version, how do we want to monetize it so that people aren't just playing our game for absolute free, right? In that we we at the end of the day need to employ ourselves. So all of these questions,
employ that partner too. That partner needs to make money,
and employ whoever is actually making it, and make sure that they get paid for their work. So with all these questions, we need the right partner to make a digital version of this happen. So that's kind of my slightly roundabout answer to your question. Unfortunately, I can't give you exact specifics, but that is, I think we're still kind of waiting to find the right person to help us with something like that.
Yeah. Without a doubt, I'm sure the community will make stuff like TTS mods and whatnot. But for a more official version that's maintained and has our support and stuff, for sure, I think it's and also I mean it would be awesome to have a polished app for a competitive card game that we're making. That would be really awesome. Trust me. I wish we had our Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel level app for Aidalon. I would be so happy. But that's a whole other ball game, Yeah,
we're definitely not working at the scope right now where we can have something like that at launch,
Yeah. Man, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Like many of you, when I read the comments where people talk about this, everyone's always like, man, it'd be so cool. That would be so cool. And I think the exact same thing when I read it. I don't have any. Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah, dude. All right. Thanks, Evan. Next question's from Baba Kinush. What has been the most difficult card to balance or get right?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I think there's a lot of different answers to this. This is a good one that would have been a good one for Michael, but I think I can speak to some stuff that he's talked about before, as well as maybe a couple other things. But in some ways, it's not necessarily a single card, but maybe a couple mechanics or a couple the relationship of some values. The biggest one is definitely just the relationship of shard cost and shards to collection icons and like scrap cost and barrier, and you know, like that it's all shards, right? Like from like going in and out, and sort of this question of like how much money should readily be available to a player, and how cheap should it be to get through stuff but also destroy stuff, which is another question as well. And you're trying to so that's been like, I know something that Michael and I spent a lot of time on, is this kind of fine-tuning what a shard's value is and what a card's value is, especially on the board, and making sure people get to play their cards and use their cards and not just feel like someone has a ton of money and they just come in and they just destroy everything and prevent you from playing the game and having fun. I think every game has that problem to some extent, but because there's so much what's the word? I can't think of the word. Because the delving player has so much choice, they get to kind of make a lot of choices with what's going to happen to those cards. Unlike, like, say, Magic, where you as the defender get to choose to like block or whatever. There's a lot of agency by the delver, and so making sure that agency is prioritized correctly, like putting heat on your opponent to see more cards and progress the game rather than kind of slow down the game. Making sure the values on cards help with that priority. That's definitely been like probably the hardest thing to balance, but I think we found it. I think I'm really happy with where it's ended up. But that's probably like the biggest thing is cards with collection icons, and which used to have like a lot more. They used to have multiple collection icons and stuff, and we've really toned that back. And their relationship with scrap costs on cards. The other one, it would be like Marwa, like abilities that have steal, cards that steal shards. That's one that I think was steal kind of has this built-in feels bad, as well as is, you know, can be a good and useful mechanic. And so
have we shared Marwa?
We have. She's in the latest update. Actually, if you go to the latest update, Marwa is there with beautiful art from the incredible Boel Oyino, who's an amazing, I think he's French artist, very talented guy, person. But so Marwa has this ability that's basically like when you're delving on your opponent, if you pass cards, you can sort of like use her to steal a shard from your opponent once per round, basically whenever you exhaust her. And but that's kind of more of again like a mechanic, not necessarily just Marwa, but Marwa and all the cards that also steal, because there was definitely a time when Fisher especially built some pretty oppressive Marwa steal decks, and
I love my Marwa.
Yeah. But you know, if you nerf it too much, people kind of, you know, it's like steal kind of has to be below curve. That is sort of a rule, I think, in card games in some ways. After a while you learn like there is sort of a tax on the feeling of a mechanic, not just the function of a mechanic, but you also still want that mechanic to be useful and good as well. So it is this kind of interesting balance.
Well, yeah, I mean, steal it's very hard to balance around because it's by definition it's twice a shard, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're denying them a shard and you're gaining a shard.
Yeah.
So it's already not a very granular mechanic, where steal 2 is just an incredible swing in the game, just massive.
It's very exponential. Yeah.
It's not, you don't have a lot of like granularity in how you can tune it. And additionally, it's both simultaneously a denial ability on your opponent and economy for you. So like it's simultaneously doing one of the more oppressive things in the game and gaining you the most roundly beneficial thing that you can possibly get at the same time as being not very granular. So it's it's very difficult to work with.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention has negative feelings at the table depending on the player and stuff. So, but not always. I think where we ended up, steal is very fun, and you can like the nice thing about this game is that there's readily available money, and sometimes the strategy is to just spend all your money, you know, and then the steal player can't steal anything. so
run broke.
So there's like this really interesting run broke thing. In the end, it ends up being this very fun experience, and it changes how you play the game, but you can sort of shut that ability off in a way, or choose when you're going to interface with it, which is a very fun thing. So yeah, there's a few others like that. as well, like especially with like orange shifting mechanics and stuff. But I think for now, I feel like that's probably a good answer to that question. Is just economy, balance in general, and the offensive defensive nature of it, and then stealing, which of course is loaded by that previous balancing act. So
cool. And our final question comes from Maximum Glutes.
Another normal name.
Glutes.
Come see us at the booth, Maximum Glutes.
We want to see those glutes.
I want to see them, yeah.
Do not actually harass our fans.
Given that you're effectively working on 2 sets at a time, how do you think about introducing new mechanics as the product evolves without creating negative interactions with existing cards? And is it difficult to make changes based on player feedback when you've become attached to your ideas?
Yeah, okay. So that first one, let me think for a minute. My brain's getting slower today. all that packing for trip stuff.
I mean, I think the short answer to the first question of how do we add mechanics without negative interactions with existing cards is testing.
Yeah, that is true.
We can talk about more nuanced things, but ultimately we have a lot of people play a lot of games to find all of the mistakes we made.
I mean, that is definitely, it ultimately does kind of come down to that. We do try to think about, like, especially because we want to have like a rotation format, like a rotating format option for players, as well as the fact that these sets are kind of entry points. But one of the decisions we've kind of made internally is sort of like each year is almost like a block in a way, and each set is like a piece of it. So they're sort of like trying to make sets that complement each other within the year and stuff like that. Because you're trying to make sure that when you have like a rotating format like that, that the cards that are all in the pool together sort of share something. And so there is a certain amount of thought put into like, all right, well, when we do set 2, you don't want to just like introduce a bunch of crazy weird new stuff. You kind of want to like find ways to add support or interesting ways of sort of playing with the stuff and recontextualizing the previous set, you know. I mean, we're only on set 2, so we'll see how that goes as we go. But mostly, yeah, there's a little bit of this like zoomed out thought put into it of like, I think that would be fun together with this. But then at the end of the day, like, it's just about kind of getting cards made and trying them. And obviously we want to play the set on its own and test it on its own for the sake of that new player experience. But I already know that as soon as I give set 2 to the people who've been play testing set 1, they're immediately going to have cards in mind that they're like, oh man, as soon as I'm allowed to play test these together, I'm going to try that and break it. Yeah, it is ultimately just testing, but we do try to be mindful of this sort of like relationship of like sets that are bumping shoulders on the schedule.
And do go check out the last time Michael was on the podcast. We talked a bit about some of the way he balances cards and the system he used for blocking that in. Like that kind of more systemic approach to card design means that like you're starting from like this baseline that already is a little bit more controlled and structured. So he talks about that more in that last episode.
Yeah. I don't remember what episode number it is, but it's on our GameFound page, I believe. And
I believe Fisher is looking at our library.
I was, but I haven't found it yet.
It is episode 75.
Fisher, there's a little mirror behind you that displays your screen perfectly.
Oh, can you really see what I'm looking at?
I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, scroll on it.
Is that a mirror or is that like a PlayStation?
It's Sam's gaming computer. It's a glass front.
Oh, funny.
That's fun. Yeah.
Oh, good. I really hope I wasn't looking at anything.
Those You've been looking at those maximum glutes for too long.
Yeah.
I've been missing out
because
because
more unannounced material or something, but I'm pretty sure I've just been looking at like Googling things we've been talking
there's
about.
no way anyone could see anything.
No.
Yeah, probably not.
Little squares.
The second question from Maximum Glutes. I'm obsessed with this name. Is it difficult to make changes based on player feedback? Yes and no, but not necessarily attachment. I mean, I definitely feel like there's some attachment, but I feel like Michael and I are both very like, about stuff sometimes. Like we do sometimes think like, well, I think that card's fun. I don't understand, but for the most part, we I think probably changing commons to network was a little harder for me just because I got so used to it, and I just like felt like I couldn't find a suitable alternative. Sometimes you're just like in a thesaurus for just days at a time, and you feel like you've looked at every word that exists, and you are kind of attached to what you have, and anything you find just feels silly or whatever. But for the most part, I do feel like it's not that difficult. I think Michael and I are very willing to sort of, if anything, the thing that stops us from changing something is, oh, well, we thought that was in a good place, and there's kind of this, it starts to make you question if changing something could break something else, like that's when we start to get a little bit, but in our first playtest, admittedly, like Michael and I have been, developing on Eidalon for a long time and have made so many different versions. We've been kind of in like just try it mode for a long time, that like when we were kind of getting near the end of testing, we ended up actually pushing an update based off player feedback, where we we kind of passed, we like almost went too far, and actually immediately testers, like on the weekend, I'm getting messages from people with like, this is crazy, this is not, like, I think when people looked at the cards, they thought the changes looked good, but as soon as they started playing, they were like, this is too big of a change, this is too much of a change. And so we just rolled it back and made a smaller targeted change, and everyone really liked that, and liked how we kind of found a nice balance. But it, like, we almost had to almost make an active choice to kind of be like, oh, we're pretty close, actually. We should slow down. We should make smaller change. Like we almost had to so I think in many ways, no, it's not difficult to make changes. If anything, it took us a minute to like slow down because we were so used to iterating for so long. Because we care about what people say and their feedback. We'll sometimes just disagree, but ultimately, I think we're very open.
Okay, thanks everybody for all those questions. That brings us to stuff we're into or things we're excited about in life. And personally, we'll start with me. Personally, I'm into this show on Apple TV called Pluribus. Has anybody watched Pluribus?
Mm-hmm.
We have not. Sam and I want to. We intend to soon.
Okay, you should watch it. I highly recommend Pluribus. That's all I'll say. I'll say don't watch anything about it if you haven't yet.
Okay.
And but it's from the creator of Breaking Bad, Vince Gilligan. So it has that kind of vibe, and it's sci-fi, and it's really good sci-fi in my opinion. A lot of interesting ideas to ponder, and it's just entertaining and great. It's great, and it stars Rhea Seehorn. What's her name? She played Kim in Better Call Saul. And I love her.
She was great in Better Call Saul, so I'm excited to see her lead a show.
It's good. It's good. And then as far as games, I started playing this new roguelite, whatever it is, called Morsels.
Oh, I was just seeing that on Steam, and it has the really like lumpy, fleshy looking logo.
Yes. Yes. I think it's great so far. I'm kind of burnt out on those like top-down twin stick shooter roguelikes, Enter the Gungeon, Binding of Isaac. Totally oversaturated genre, but the music and sound and everything about this, the art style, is like right up my alley. So it's winning me over with that stuff. And it's just, so far it's full of a lot of little, just tiny little differences from those other games, like little surprises. Like you encounter all kinds of wacky NPCs that are just amazingly weird designs. I don't know if it's doing anything to like redefine the genre, but it's worth checking out. I think it's on sale for like $13 on Steam. So if you like the looks of it, I think it's worth playing for a day or two and just, experiencing that weird world.
Did you hear I just brought it up on Steam, and I think the music played a little.
Yeah, it's just really like, if you like the art, it's the same artist who did Atomic Crops. And
the colors are really vibrant.
Yeah, they are. I will say though, Anders, I was drawn in by the pixel art in Eastward, and I just kind of game didn't do it for me.
This is way more fun. This is just kind of like a arcade styled, like instantly fun. You know what I mean?
Definitely looks like an Anders game.
Yes, it is. As I was playing it, I was like, finally something that excites me. I was playing Ball Pit last week. I don't know how far I had gotten then, but I kind of got burnt out on that. I feel like the minute-to-minute gameplay gets old pretty quick with that one. I may never go back to Ball Pit, but it was pretty fun while it lasted. And I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom again, so it's kind of a gaming time for me. But that's all.
Cold weather does that for you.
Yeah. Ooh, and my daughter and I have been watching all the Studio Ghibli movies, and she's not they're not too scary for her. She loves them. She loves Ponyo. Kiki, Totoro are the favorites so far. Spirited Away was good.
A little scary, that one.
Yeah. And then we watched Castle in the Sky last night. And that's a great action movie. It's not as magical as his other ones, but it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed they're not too scary for her.
I know.
There are times they're too scary for me.
Yeah. I was shocked. I was looking at her during Spirited Away to see if it was bothering her. And nope, just taking it in. Yeah.
I feel like my kid has unless I'm just not able to read it, but she doesn't seem to be as scared of the things that freaked me out as a kid.
I wonder if she's too little to even know at all what it is, like
maybe. In the movie Spaceballs, the Pizza the Hut.
Yeah.
I was freaked out by that guy, and she loves looking at pictures of him.
Yeah. He was so funny. Just printouts?
Oh well, I just on my phone. She
Yeah.
She's got a framed picture of Pizza the Hut in her room.
That's so funny that you were afraid of Pizza the Hut. I think my problem is that he's so drippy. He's just a little too drippy for me.
Gross.
Yeah, it's really gross.
How does she ask for it? Can I see Pizza the Hut?
Well, maybe this is a weird thing, but when we take her to daycare in the morning, it's difficult to get her belted into her car seat. So we've made up this lore that there's like a garage goblin that's going to get her unless she gets it. It becomes like a game. And then she thinks that I mentioned Pizza the Hut or something to Megan. And I think that's what he looks like now.
I see that advice in a lot of like parenting books and stuff I've read, is like making up some, like some monster or something.
Really? That's a good thing?
And they like recommend it. And I've always like, not to criticize Evan, but I've always been like, isn't that like mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It felt a little funny doing it, but it's more of like a fun game now. I'm like, oh my gosh, the garage goblin. Yeah. And she gets really excited and works out for everybody. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to trample on
you. Wild. It's so funny because I made up a monster last night to get her moving, my daughter, for the first time ever, and I felt felt a little bad about it, but then I had the thought of like that kind of worked, you know?
Yeah. You got the loitering goblin is coming to get you for standing still.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'll even with Wyatt at 2, I'll be like, I'll turn my, I'll be like, I'm gonna get you, which maybe is worse than making up a fictitious monster.
Yeah.
I'm the monster.
Yeah, and I'll get like my tickle hands going, and then like chase him to Sam so that she can change him for bed.
Yep, you got to do it.
Maybe that's all the parenting books are trying to get you to do. Evan and I are the weird
disturbing mythology to corral your kids into good behavior.
He's covered in eyeballs and he's looking for you.
All right, Fisher, what are you into?
Well, one of the things I'm into is just a thing Maxine was into last time because she convinced me to play it, which was Dispatch. All the episodes are out now and highly recommended. It's just really good. It's super polished. Like, it's like legit. I would just watch that TV show basically. So, and with like a Telltale style game, you're basically are watching that TV show. I've been like the base. The like management game you kind of play between the narrative scenes is fine. It's serviceable, but it doesn't overstay its welcome. So like, even though it's a little basic, it's just there and then it moves on. So I haven't finished the last 2 chapters yet, but as of chapter 6, I'm really liking the game. Maybe my biggest critique is that there's kind of 2 romance paths, and one of them is clearly the canon romance path. I feel like there's one that's like the way the story unfolds, like this relationship is just clearly like better baked into the narrative, and then the other narrative romance option is just kind of there. And if you can tell from my tone of voice, I chose the just kind of there romance option. And I've been like watching the other one because I'll watch some of the alternate stuff that I don't choose on like YouTube just to see how it went or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, no, these scenes are better for this other character.
They shouldn't do that.
Interesting.
I mean, it's hard to write 2 fully realized different plots, and like having written branching narrative ourselves, I feel that. The other thing I've been into lately is my mic picking up the crying baby at my door right now?
A little bit.
I don't think I can hear it.
He just got home. He's with Sam. He's not alone on the other side of my door, but I think he wants to see. The other thing I've been into, I forget if I mentioned this last episode, but I ran a one shot of Mothership, and that was awesome. That game is super fun, pretty rules light, and like the scenario I ran evoked the horror really awesome, and like I'm hoping to maybe do more of that and expand it into like a little mini campaign because I've been enjoying it so much. So sorry if I mentioned this last time, I really don't remember, but Mothership RPG, really fun.
Yeah, Mothership is awesome. Yeah, I've only played one shot of that, and it was a very, very good one shot. And then also, I know some people who are doing like the MMO of it because there's like a whole there's like that I think they're running it themselves, which is basically like 1,000-person RPG campaign or something like that.
They got a guy who ran a similar event for a different RPG to kind of do one for Mothership. So it's like a community person that I think they're paying to run it.
It sounds amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's like an MMO for tabletop. It's so cool.
One of the things I've been really impressed by with it is just like the module design is very neat. And I just downloaded one off of itch.io that was made by a community member. And they have like the whole adventure, this one-shot adventure is just in this pamphlet, this like trifold pamphlet. And it's very clever. They kind of have this dungeon that's designed. And so each room has its brief notes, and then they're just connected with how the dungeon the facility is connected to each other. So it's both a map and your GM notes. And it's written at just the same specificity level that I write my own personal notes at. So it's just like, I found it really easy and intuitive to run. It just tells you what you need and then gets out of your way. So you kind of make up the rest. Yeah. I had a ton of fun with it.
It's awesome. Yeah, the module I played has like this time skip thing, and it was so good. I've heard that just Mothership has some of the best modules.
Yeah, this was made by this fan. What's this? Skull Fungus. It's basically like Among Us if they're plant people instead, effectively.
That's awesome.
Anyway, that's the stuff I'm into.
Cool. How about you, Evan? Let me guess.
Let me guess. Yeah. Well, I was hoping that maybe Cory would talk about his vice, so I'd feel a little bit better.
All right.
But it doesn't look like he is. So,
okay.
Yeah, I discovered on I got filtered a YouTube video playthrough of a game. It looked like Final Fantasy for the NES, but it turns out someone remade Final Fantasy 1 for the NES in Unity and fixed some bugs. It was just like a fan project, and they called it Final Fantasy Renaissance, but then they made it like a whole new variant of the game where they introduced like all the classes that you can choose from in the subsequent games, like 3, 5, 6, or and so on. So he like recreated like the pixel art to create these new little NES 8-bit looking character classes, and introduced a bunch of new like narrative elements and things in the game that you can come across. So if you've played the original one and you want something kind of new but still kind of familiar feeling, Final Fantasy Renaissance is a really fun thing. So I chose a whole new party of 4 characters that are not one of them is from the original, the fighter, but then I chose a blue mage and a spellblade, and I guess I did choose a red mage as well. So it's just fun to play through the game with these new classes that appear in the games and in the subsequent games, and see how the guy that made this Unity adaptation, how he kind of reinterpreted the abilities to fit in the NES kind of landscape of gameplay. So that's all I've really had time to do, and it's kind of a convenient thing to pick up and put down when I have free time. So that's pretty much it. I recommend it.
So it's based on the first game?
Yeah. And unfortunately the first one, the cartridge had some unfortunate bugs. Like there was like these certain weapons with elemental properties that didn't actually have those properties attributed to them in the code. So it's like it didn't do what it was supposed to do.
Did he maintain these into this remake?
No, he fixed those.
Okay.
and then he was, I don't know what the whole story is, but then he introduced like all new content, and so it's a lot of fun.
If you were to, as a Final Fantasy aficionado, like what remains from this first game? Not this whatever you call it, mod. What remains from this to like the most recent Final Fantasy game? Like what makes it Final Fantasy?
Well, I think that the story itself was pretty new. If you've played through the original Final Fantasy, there's like a weird time loop, time travel aspect to it that kind of comes out of nowhere, which I found to be really, really fun. And it was fun to see, like, to be conditioned to like seeing like goblins and skeletons and stuff, and then all of a sudden you're fighting like a robot later on. So there's just stuff like that, and the series has always tried to reinvent itself and do fun things like that. So
yeah, I mean that is an interesting question because it's evolved so much.
Yeah,
especially in big leaps like around Final Fantasy X, right, where it just like it is almost unrecognizable if you take the most recent game and then this original game.
Yeah. Because like different characters, different story. Like what makes it? It's just the name.
Yeah, the name, and there's recurring themes, and a lot of the older games there was the idea of like 4 elemental crystals that kind of maintain the balance of the world, and bad guys try to take them or destroy them and stuff. But
sounds like every high fantasy thing ever made.
Yeah, I know. I think what you're asking, Anders, is why the hell are you obsessed with
No,
this
I'm just
series?
curious.
And I can't really answer you very well.
Well, yeah, like what is the thing that you like about like all of them, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think my entry point was 7, and it just was like the first time I played like an RPG that was a video game, and there was like people swinging swords while other people were shooting guns. And the merging of like fantasy and sci-fi, steam or cyberpunk, I guess in a way, was really interesting. And then the overarching story about life and death and environmental crises was pretty interesting to me.
Well, 7's like on this discussion of how much it's changed. 7's kind of an interesting anchor point because I feel like you can see 7's similarities back to the originals, and you can see 7's similarities out to now. So it's kind of like it does kind of anchor to everything in the series in a way because it's just sitting in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like any JRPG series, like the Tales games, Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Vesperia, there's like stuff in the universe that's like the same, but for the most part, they're very different games, and but the systems kind of complemented by each other, and the music and some of the like audio hooks and things are kind of similar. So there's like a vibe, I think, that a lot of JRPG series technically like they're like, well, I think you kind of like know what it is if you know, but it's hard to like put a word to it, you know, sometimes. For sure.
Yeah, and I just think. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no! Like, but as you know, as long as the game goes da 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 da. I mean, that's Zelda. Yeah. So,
no,
that's Final Fantasy. Too many JRPG hooks.
And I think just for where I'm at in my life right now, I don't really have a lot of time to like immerse myself in fun new games. You know, it's hard to stay on the bleeding edge of stuff, and I find myself kind of retreating to like cozy experiences that I've already had. Just because that's like kind of a cheap thrill, you know, in a way.
1,000%.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That's what I'm into.
Speaking of cozy falling back into things, Cory, I'm usually also with Evan, like, that's why I still play RuneScape or World of Warcraft or whatever.
So what are you doing now?
I'm not playing RuneScape lately. I was playing some Guild Wars 2. I am trying to get through the expansion content of Guild Wars 2. But lately, I haven't really had a lot of time to play games. But so what I have been doing, though, is I've been reading a lot of manga lately. I started I finished a couple books recently, which was good. I hadn't been reading as much as I wanted to this year. And then I started reading some comics again, and then I started reading Dandadan, the manga. I don't know what it is, but it's like the only time I feel like I have is late at night, and I try not to watch TV, you know, because I know I'll just be like awake longer. And if I use my phone, as long as I can like do something in black and white mode with like night colors, and it's only like reading, then I'm fine, you know. And manga's usually black and white, so I was like, all right. So I started reading Dandadan, which is also a great anime series. It's really got an amazing intro animation. But I actually caught all the way up. So now I'm on like I'm like a kid again that's like waiting for the Shonen Jump to release, you know. That's what it is. I have like Shonen Jump on my phone, and it's like, 5 days until the next chapter, and I'm like, ooh, I want to know, you know. So it feels really good. And then I've been I started. This is going to sound insane, but I started over on One Piece because I used to be pretty far, but honestly, I haven't read it in so long, and I hadn't even watched the anime in so long. And I watched like the live action series recently, and they changed a lot of stuff to make it faster. You know, they're trying to make it more of a bite-sized, kind of more entry-level. Like the live action is intended to be like for everyone else, kind of. But I think they've done a lot of things really well. I think the live action One Piece series is great. But so I was like, well, I kind of can't remember everything that happened. I know some of it, but there's also just a lot. And I wanted to kind of remind myself, so I was like, I'm gonna start over. So I'm like 80 chapters into One Piece again, and I'm gonna catch. It's only just slightly over 1,000 chapters. Come on, guys. With new chapters.
I mean,
with a
Sisyphus.
new chapter. Yeah,
Sisyphus wanted to start over at the bottom of the hill. You know, like
there's only a new chapter like every week, but I'll get back to it. It's like anything. If you just kind of like put in, you chug along, because you can knock out like the chapters aren't that long. So I feel like everyone the joke is that One Piece is like insanely long, but I think if you actually sit down and just like watch it like you would any other show, like, because some people just watch like Office episodes while they eat or something. If instead of just like doing the comfort thing, you found a new comfort and just like watching One Piece, you'd catch up pretty fast. Actually, you'd be surprised. I mean, Patty and I watched all of MASH, just eating dinner, like very quickly. Like it was kind of like it was over so fast. It was. Yeah.
I mean, the episodes are short. But just for the record, that's still 411 hours of television.
That's
just so we're
Let's go.
on the same page here.
I was going to say two things. We were at my Megan's parents last Christmas, and there was nothing going on, and someone put Cheers on, and I don't watch Cheers. I didn't even know it was the last episode, and I'd fallen asleep on the couch, and then no one stopped it, so it started right into the first episode of the first season, and I was so like thrown by that. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know that I had just seen the last episode, and I was not invested in it at all. So it was a very strange experience.
That is.
Also, MASH. I never liked seeing MASH.
I love MASH
because it was always on in this like Sunday afternoon.
Yeah,
when, like, if you're watching TV on a Sunday afternoon, like
that's so funny. I had the same. Like it came on after something I liked, and it would be that.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's like okay,
it's such a downer.
Not boring now.
It's got like sad intro music.
Yeah,
helicopters.
It's a good show. I love that show. I mean, same thing. I hadn't watched. This is going to sound crazy too, but I hadn't watched a Star Trek series. And Patty, my wife, is really into TNG, and so we started watching TNG.
Yeah.
And we're already like 4 seasons in. Like it's kind of like almost sad how fast we got through. And so again, it's like it's once you're actually like in a nice little habit. I think like I'll be at 1,000 chapters of One Piece in no time.
I love how you're coaching us on how to like waste our time.
Yeah. Cory,
it's so good. What are you talking about?
Cory, the rest of the people on this call have children.
Yeah, while you're holding the child.
Holding my 4.5-year-old while I watch MASH. We're watching this.
Yeah. Well,
I did watch the first couple episodes of Don, and I really liked it. So I'm gonna stick with it.
It's a good one.
It's fun.
In one sentence, what's like its general like theme?
It's kind of crazy. It's basically
your sentence.
The log line. The log line is there's a kid who's into the occult, and there's a girl who's like believes in ghosts, and they like. Neither of them believe the opposite thing. That's like how the whole show starts. And so they like bet the other person. Like she bets him to like go to a place that's haunted, and he bets her to go to a place where abductions happen. And then it kickstarts this whole insane sci-fi horror genre bending kind of thing. But there's like love triangles, and they're like high school students who don't know how to talk to each other, but they're actually in love. And so it's like, it's really fun. It's really funny. It's got like day in the life kind of anime manga stuff, but also got like sci-fi horror stuff. It's really good.
Yeah, you didn't need to tell us that they were high school students with a love triangle. You already said it was an anime.
Yeah, but I will say for people who are like, it is not kid friendly. Like, so don't watch it with your 4-year-old.
Is it supposed to be like dun 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 like that? Is that what the name is?
It's like the name of a. It's like a name from something, but it's just Don like that. There's a great. You should watch the intro, Anders. I think you'd look up Don season 1 intro and just give that a watch. As an animator, I think you'll.
Is it on only on like Crunchyroll type things, or where do you watch it?
It's on Netflix. I think Netflix produced it, I believe.
I'm gonna check it out tonight.
Yeah. The song is great. The intro song from Creepy Nuts. That's the band's name.
Well, from show nuts to creepy nuts.
Yep, there it is.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching. Send us your emails, send us your Discords, whatever you want to do, and come say hi to the team at PAX Unplugged this weekend in Pennsylvania. All right. Mm-hmm. Thanks for listening. It's been fun. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.